Welcome back to another video lesson. This video lesson is titled Inequalities, lesson 8.5. You need that white note sheet to just trim down and glue in your notebook. I am on page 84. We're just going to title it Inequalities. So first let's talk about this vocabulary word, inequality. Notice the word equal in the word inequality. We've been dealing with a lot of equations where one side of the equation has to equal the other, and the equal sign is the symbol that we use. Inequalities is what's happening with this scale. When one side of the equation doesn't match the other side, so you can see that 8 is not equal to 3. When this happens, an inequality occurs. One side doesn't match the other. We have two symbols that you are very familiar with to describe when this happens. When one side of the equation does not match the other. One is either bigger or smaller. So we've used the alligators, Pac-Man, however you want to remember it. We have the greater than and the less than symbol. Those are two inequality symbols that show when things are not balanced. One side, the left or the right, is bigger than the other. So you need to be familiar with these two symbols. We have a chart that's going to chart out those symbols and add two new ones. One thing before we get to our note sheet I want to talk about is this reversal property of an inequality. When you have a number that's bigger than another number, you could switch around the numbers and use the other inequality symbol. So let's use cupcakes as an example. If we have the larger cupcake on the left, that is greater than the cupcake on the right. So we could say that the big cupcake is larger or greater than the small cupcake. If we literally change the position of the cupcakes, we can use the other symbol, the less than symbol. And we could say that the smaller cupcake is smaller than or less than the larger cupcake. So that's the reversal property. We could change the order of the numbers and use a different inequality symbol, and they are the same thing. If you use numbers, 5 is greater than 4, or you could say 4 is less than 5. Now we're going to go to our notes. We're going to put our symbol of less than up at the top. One way to remember less than is that the side that is smaller gets the 1 dot and the side that is larger gets the 2 dots, and then you connect them. So less than symbol pointing to the smaller number or opening towards the bigger number, lots of little tricks. Let's use some numbers to jot down as examples instead of cupcakes. So we'll first say that 3 is less than 5. You can create your own example there. Any number less than a bigger one. I'm going to use a negative number. -2 is less than +7. You can write your own. Here's the more important part. We're going to outline some key words. When you see these keywords, that will trigger, we're going to need to use the less than symbol when we're putting an inequality together. So one key word that you're going to see is the keyword under. Another keyword that you would see is younger. And the most obvious one would be the word less. So we're going to see some situations. You might later on have to create your own inequality from those situations and stories, and those are the keywords to remember associated with less than. Greater than is when the number on the left is bigger than the number on the right. I have the 2 dots and then the 1 dot as a way to remember. And some examples to start off with, we could say that 8 is greater than 6. And again, you can come up with your own inequality using greater than. I'm going to say that 23 is greater than 22. Just like the keywords for less than, we're going to do the similar keywords for greater than. So instead of under, you might see the word over. Instead of younger, you might see the word older. You also could hear the phrase more than, and I got one more after that just for your spacing. More than, so you gotta write a little bit tiny here. And the last one, again, the most obvious, is greater. Again, these keywords are going to show up, and you have to be able to associate that these are talking about the greater than symbol. Now for the two new symbols. We have this idea that we could create a symbol. It combines the equal symbol and the less than symbol. So the less than or equal to symbol literally is going to be the less than symbol, and then you see a line underneath it. It's almost like they took the equal sign and they took half of it away and they stuck the other half underneath the symbol. So it's called less than or equal to. How this works is that there's more than one possibility. You could have a number like 3. You could use this symbol, less than or equal to, and have it be equal to 3. Notice this or means in addition to. It could be less than, and it could be the same. So or is the same as the word and, almost, in this situation. Again, like less than, we could have a number, and I want you to write this one down too, like 7 being less than or equal to 10. In this case, it happens to just be less than. So it opens up the possibility, using this less than or equal to have the numbers be the same, and we could use this symbol, and it still is considered an inequality, even though technically this is equal. So a new concept, and there are some words and phrases that we need to associate or connect with this symbol so that we can know that we have to use that symbol. One phrase is no more than. When you see that phrase, you're going to need to link it to this less than or equal to symbol. I have 2 more just for your space. Yeah, right, a little bit tiny. The second one is this idea of exceeding. For instance, if I'm giving you $20 to spend, you can spend $20, but you can't exceed it or go above it because you only have a $20 bill. So does not exceed is a concept that you have to link to the symbol. The last one is the phrase at most. The last column deals with the last new symbol. It is titled greater than or equal to. So again, it has 2 things going on. It has the greater than symbol, and it has that line going underneath it. That very important line telling you that it could be greater or it could be the same. One example for it to be the same might be 12 is greater than or equal to 12. In this case, it's equal. Or you could have it be greater, like 9 is greater than or equal to 6. In this case, it happens to be greater than the 6. There are 2 phrases that I want to write for the key words for this one. Similar to no more than, you might hear or see the phrase no less than. This situation might be where you have a fundraiser and you have to sell no less than $20. So they're expecting everyone to sell $20. You could go above though. You could sell $50 or $100 worth of fundraiser material. But you can't sell less than 20. So you want to at least make a $20 donation. The other one that kind of fits that as well, the other phrase is at least. Another way you could talk about that fundraiser example is that you have to at least sell $20, but you could sell more. So those 2 phrases are connected to the greater than symbol. So below our chart, we have 3 examples. They essentially are going to be plucking and plopping exercises. So I want you to turn your note sheet, and on the side of the examples, so right along the left-hand side, you can write kind of going across the page, pluck and plop. That's really what we're doing. The only difference is that we're seeing inequality symbols instead of equal symbols. So example 1, of the numbers 6, 7, or 8, which is a solution, or which number works to make the inequality true? So what we have to do is try each one. So we're going to try each one by starting with the inequality f plus 2 is less than 9. And we're going to pluck and plop the first number in, and then add, and then ask ourselves, does it work or not? Is 8 less than 9? It is, yes. And now we're going to move on to the 7. F plus 2 less than 9, plug in the 7, and then add. Because this symbol is just the less than symbol, 9 is not less than 9. It's the same as 9. So this does not work. If it had been the less than or equal to symbol, yes, that would have been a possibility. The last one is the 8. Pluck and plop. And 10, you have to ask, is that less than 9? No, it's not. So our answer is 6. The only one that works is 6. For example 2, you might also see that you have one possible solution for an inequality, and all you have to do is test it out and see if it works, and answer yes or no. So is the given value, x being 4, a solution of the inequality? So will it work in this inequality? Does it make the statement true? In order to find that out, we're going to pluck and plop. So we have x plus 3 being greater than 9. We're going to pluck and plop. 4 plus 3 greater than 9. That's 7 being greater than 9, and that is not true. So we're going to just answer no. I want you to do the second one. You have another situation where you're given an inequality and asked to figure out if the solution is true. When you pluck and plop, you see that the right-hand side becomes 12. Because this is a less than or equal to symbol, we can answer yes, this works. The last question gives us a little bit more of a word problem or a situation from the real world. And we have someone at a gift shop working, and she receives a bonus if she makes more than 20 balloon bouquets. So I want you to underline that phrase, more than 20 balloon bouquets. That is the inequality. Which months did Louisa receive a bonus? Use the inequality. They actually give it to us. You can underline that as well. Where B represents the number of balloon bouquets made each month to solve. So they're just sharing with you, what does the variable represent? It represents balloon bouquets. For this situation, we have a table of information that we need to test out. And this becomes 4 pluck and plop problems. We're going to use this inequality, and we're going to plop in each month and see if it works. So B greater than 20 is the original inequality. We're going to pluck and plop 25 in, and this is for July. We're going to do the same for August, and I'm just labeling it August to keep track and keep straight. 18 greater than 20 for September, and last but not least, October ends up being 32 greater than 20. So now we just have to figure out which ones of these are actually true inequalities. Well, 25 is greater than 20. 12 is not greater than 20. 18 is not greater than 20, but 32 is greater than 20. So since they're asking for which months, we're going to answer the question that they're asking and give the months of July and October as the answers to this question. Please put your date of birth month, so your birthday month, at the bottom right-hand corner of this page. And I look forward to working more with you tomorrow with inequalities. Have a great night. Bye.